The very first thing we did was we went and sat down at a coffee shop and stared at each other for about an hour. Because Hodgkin's lymphoma, like my doctor said, who diagnosed me, said, this is very treatable, There's a really good survival rate. My friend had it and he's been cancer-free for decades.
And everybody says, oh, at least you have the good kind.
Right. Right.
Good kind and cancer should never be in the same sentence. And people say it all the time.
I know, that's the truth. But being a treatable sort of cancer, people's reaction to an alternative was like, what in the world are you doing? You're like throwing your life away. I'm Craig Vanderstoop. This is my wife, Jennifer. And we're from Northern California. And we're down here in Mexico getting treatment at Hope4Cancer. Actually, I knew I had cancer before they said those words. My mom had the same kind of cancer when I was growing up. And so hers started exactly the same way mine did. I felt this lump in my throat and ignored it for a day and then leaned back on the couch with my neck like this. And Jen said, oh my gosh, Craig, is that what you told me about? And I said, yeah. And she said, go to the hospital right now. Get up right now and drive to the hospital. And so I did that. And I started a process of, 3 weeks or so that, was it 3 weeks?
3-week diagnosis process.
About 3 weeks to get diagnosed. And then finally they said, you have lymphoma. So.
You're never prepared for the words to hit you. And so we just needed a minute. But because we had such a strong gut feeling that this is the direction we were headed, given his mom's history and other family members also have the same type of cancer. And it is ultimately what took his mom's life when he was still in high school. So because of that, we really made concerted effort to start researching before the diagnosis was official. But when you live in the United States, the word cancer only means one thing, chemotherapy. And so to start looking at alternatives before the word even came was helpful.
Yeah.
We had a mindset shift.
Yeah. And 90% of people that get diagnosed with what I have live 5 years, right?
With traditional chemotherapy.
With traditional chemotherapy. 70% of those people or so, their cancer goes into remission. And so that's, there's some numbers in there that are a little bit scary, but then starting 10 years down the road, for me, with the family history that I have, my risk of getting a second kind of cancer from the treatment or related to everything that goes on was like over 80%.
Really high.
Really, really high. And so I just thought, well, that's not an option for me. I don't want to do this twice.
Not to mention, we didn't want his body broken down and destroyed any more than cancer was already doing. We wanted every focus to be on building him up and wellness. And
I lost about 30 pounds in the 3 weeks it took for me to go, oh no, this is not good in my neck, and get an actual diagnosis. I lost 30 pounds in that 3 weeks.
Like muscle mass.
Yeah, I just withered away.
Weird.
And then, so we looked into all the clinics. We were looking at ones in Germany and North Cyprus and Greece, yeah.
We just made a lot of phone calls. I had a notebook and just each clinic had their own page and started documenting what was offered, what their success rates were, what their protocols looked like, what the ongoing treatment looked like, and then chose what we felt was the most comprehensive with the best long-term outcome.
We didn't actually know how comprehensive it was here.
Right,
either.
no.
This encompassed way more than we actually even expected, which is really, really awesome. So we picked Hope4Cancer because there was so many treatments that take place in different types and different types of therapies, and just the expertise it seemed like they had too. We looked at some that were holistic clinics, but not necessarily cancer related, and others that had one thing that they did that, you know, we were like, oh. This one, what Hope4Cancer does really well, I feel like, is they incorporate all the things that you can find out there that people use to treat cancer naturally, and they put them all into this amazing program, and they run you through the ringer for 3 weeks, and at the end of that 3 weeks, you get to look at scans that say that your cancer's dying, which is awesome.
Even after we'd made the decision, I would keep cycling back with kind of waves of fear, or is this really enough? Is this, and we got a lot of well-intentioned warnings, borderline hostile at times, from people we don't even know. And as it became public knowledge that we were doing this, that as well as doctors, and that, you know, they would say things even as extreme as, if you make this decision, you're leaving your children without a father. He will be dead in 3 months if you choose this path. And really horrifying things to say to anyone, but especially somebody in the position we were in. So those wear on you, no matter how convinced you are that this is the right decision, about what's taking place and the intentionality of each treatment. This isn't just a spa experience. We even had somebody say that, oh, you're going to Cancun for a spa before you fight cancer? Come down and try a few of these colonoscopy cleanses and see how you feel about your spa treatment. But the science behind what they do here, in my opinion, is so much more advanced than just simply walking the blind steps through oncology. You know, there's so much focus and research on using what God has created with nature to fight some mutation, and really do that in a way that doesn't damage the body long term, but actually makes it healthier to combat anything that might come in the future. So I've been just overwhelmed as I learn more about what's available, and really eager to just continue watching that process unfold in his body.
What we have seen here has been just tremendous. The nurses are incredible, the doctors are incredible, the people here are amazing. And
the facility is cleaner than any doctor's office I've ever been in. We still have some things to work through to figure out how we're actually going to explain what this experience is like.
Yeah. And
be able to communicate it effectively, because it is so much more than just treating cancer. It's so much more encompassing and truly life altering. And we've been trying to figure out even how we're going to go home and return to some form of new normal, because there's no way you can leave this experience and go back to the way you were before. There just isn't.
That's true.
There's such an incredible emotional, spiritual, and physical transition that takes place, even as the companion walking through it with him. What it's done for our marriage, I mean, we had no idea.
Who knew, right? You come down to treat cancer, tumors in your neck, and all of a sudden you have marital counseling. We didn't realize that was happening. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And then the holistic side of that, of course, is that you can't just treat the body, you also have to treat the soul, the mind, the spirit, right? And so combining all of those amazing things with this like psycho-spiritual side of things, super unique, and it just doesn't allow you to go back to doing things the way that you were. We've just been given tremendous tools in our personal life to create a situation that promotes healing for the rest of our life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things that they've said here repeatedly is that cancer is just a temporary visitor. Cancer is a messenger to help you make changes in your life. One of the things that they gave us to think about is a kind of a poem. And the last line of the poem is, "Thank you, my diseased organs, for showing me all these things. And thank you, God, for doing my healing." And it's just the idea that cancer, instead of being this thing that like makes you shake with fear and think that you're going to die tomorrow, it becomes something that is certainly an obstacle to overcome and something you have to be very careful about, but it's just something that helps you live better.
Brings attention to areas of need that you may have floated through your whole life without knowing, or we wouldn't have experienced what we've gained.
Certainly.
Yeah.